It's always sort of nerve-wracking. Wear eye protection when you're doing this, just in case the fuel squirts. And then you're just gonna pull up on the fuel rail. And same process for the back ones. And pull off the fuel rail. We're gonna be reinstalling the new injectors now. So just to give a little better of an idea, the spacer's point is to make sure that these are flush. Just go as straight as possible, line up all the holes here. So if the injectors are the only thing that you're doing, you're gonna move on from here. Just repeat the steps that we've already done in the backwards order. In my case, I'm actually gonna be replacing this fuel pump as well. So let's get started with that. First step on this one is gonna be to break loose this rear fuel line. Also a 17 millimeter, just like the front ones. Get your rag underneath there, it will probably leak. Put that there for now, and I'm gonna loosen up from back there as well, where my flex fuel sensor is. I have to get this out from back here. It's kind of a tight fit with everything that I have in here. So basically what I'm doing is I have a flex fuel sensor as well as low pressure fuel sensor for my motive reflex. And there's a couple adapters that I already have set up here. So trying to get down to the bare fuel line. Finally. Oh, fuel everywhere, cool. I suspect my setup will be a little bit different from other people's. Okay, so now I have this fuel line prepped that has my motive low pressure side as well as my my flex fuel sensor. So I'm just gonna get that tucked back behind there. It's a lot nicer now that both sides are flexible though. If I had the stuff to do it, I'd do this evap delete, but I don't have that. There's a certain line that I need, or a certain plug that I need. Perfect, now it's tucked back in there. Got some slack on all my wires. And then in order to remove this factory pump, just gonna go break both of these T30s loose. And then you're just gonna alternate back and forth because it's under spring pressure. And you wanna make sure that that piston, the spring's under, doesn't come out unevenly. And you can see the fuel pump's no longer under any spring pressure, so we're just good to buzz those the rest of the way out. And pull straight up on that John. And just clean off the mating surface back here. I'm not used to having the microphone on. I had it off for that, but I did remove the pump. You just have to clean off that mating surface if you couldn't hear me before. Clean off that mating surface and get ready to install the new one. And then we're gonna be installing this mounting bracket. The writing, the Dorch Engineering, is gonna be going towards the driver's side. So it'll just sit on like that. And then you'll need to use blue Loctite on the two provided bolts here and tighten it down to 12 Newton meters. If it wasn't clear before, this black puck that I showed earlier in the video is it's like the little alignment tool that they have, and that just centers it. It just acts as like the fuel pump pretty much. So make sure that that's flush all the way around. Put your Loctite on your bolts and snug those T30s down to, like I said, 12 Newton meters. And now we're going to be just pretty much doing the reverse of what we just did. installing the fuel pump by tightening down back and forth, back and forth. You'll just take out your alignment tool, put that off to the side, and then slowly place in your pump. And then just like before, torque wrench set to 12 Newton meters. After you've Loctited the bolts, we're just going like quarter turns back and forth until it seats down properly. And that's all she wrote. And then you'll take the fuel line provided by Dorch, and we're gonna be doing this one, and then this one, and then this one. You cannot do them all at the same time. It's kind of confusing, but it'll make sense here in a sec. So I just want to start it, and then you'll swing it into this one. Swing into this one. Start those threads, and then you'll swing it down into this one. And then you can tighten them all. And for tightening these down, you're just going to where it's snug. I mean, requires quite a bit to get them off. I think the torque spec is like 32. I don't have any crow's feet to do an official torque spec, but, and then put back on this harness. And then let's throw back on this harness here. Plug in all the injectors again. You gotta push it down. First click, then there's a second set of clicks, and then you can put the lock back in. And then line up those grounds again. Make sure all these are clear and free. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, perfect. Put those 8mm nuts back on the grounds. I'm sure there is a torque spec for these. Doesn't really matter. It's not critical. Just get them snug, so they're not gonna go anywhere. Half an ugga-dugga maybe. And then let's throw these coil packs back in. I think it's smart to label your coil packs, so I have mine labeled right underneath here. It's on the back side, so you can't even see it because they sit in there like that. But I have it labeled 1, 2, so on and so forth. Got our masking tape. Then plug back in all of your coil pack connectors. Then last step is going to be to plug in the provided plug and play harness. And then just get everything back to where you can get ready to start up the car. Make sure that you don't have any leaks. We need to be checking all that connection, that connection, that connection, the connection in the middle over there. Just to make sure that we're not leaking from any of those, and we should be all good to go after that. I am going to monitor the rail pressure after I turn the car off, make sure that it's not bleeding. And that's actually going to do it for part 2 of our direct injection upgrades. I never filmed an outro for this video because I split it into 2 parts midway through editing the first and second half. So this is the outro for that video. Got a lot of exciting stuff coming up next week. Getting ready to film the maintenance video as far as the transmission, as well as the front and rear differential. And I also got, oh, okay, that's all I'll show of that, but we are back on the stock wheels for now. Again, that'll be in the next coming video. Hit a follow on my Instagram, links in the description below. That's why I post a lot of this stuff initially, so they get kind of the first sneak peek of everything that's going on, as well as the upcoming videos and stuff like that, as well as be notified when I do upload, because I'm always posting about that stuff. But that's all I got for you guys this week. Appreciate it.